Good morning, everyone. Lovely morning again. Morning, Catherine, Nicola, Pat, Fiona, Nikki. Hi, Mary, Sandra, Karen, Elaine, Anne, Catherine. Oh, hello, Karen. Other Karen. Morning, afternoon, Sandra. Hi, Jane. Lovely. Thank you very much for joining me again today. I thought I'd let you into my mind today to see how I think about how I'm going to place a card together, really. Oh, let's just go out a bit further so that you can actually see what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm working with the new layering dies from John Next Door, and I've got the 5-inch one, except we're making a big card. I just wanted to show you how you can make all sorts of size cards, even though the concept of it was meant for this was perfect for a 5-inch card. They also come in the 6 and 7, so there's all sorts of scopes, but they are so nicely laid out that I thought I'd use that one. And I'm also using the 2J's Stag's Head as a stamp today. So this is the layering set that you get with all of the layering dies. They're all like this, that you get the square one, which is the outer die. Put that around the wrong way. The outer die, then a stitched one, and then the holes. Then you've got the circle, same thing there that I've put that round the wrong way. You've got the outer die, the stitched and circles, and then in the rectangle, outer die, stitched and patterned circles. So you can use them together or individually. I'm actually going to use all three on one card. How about that? So all three of them. So and put that to one side just for a second so that you can see that I've already cut out some. So I've taken the outer die of all of the pieces. So let's just, bring that in to show you. So it's this outer die on all of the pieces, and I've cut that out in black card. So I've got that all ready to go. I could have been frugal and cut them out from one piece of card and use the backing card and everything. So I'm sure when you're at home and you're trying to be a little bit more cost effective, shall we say, that might be a better way of doing it. But that's what I've done at the moment. So I've got the 3 outer shapes there all ready to go. I'm going to put them to one side. So I'm going to go with a 10 by 7 card. So it's a very large card. They are ideal cards to not only have a big card with, but also if you've got that card that's just a little bit bigger than you would normally have, you can always trim it down. Do you know what I mean? I hope you do know what I mean. Oh, hello, Tessa. Fancy seeing you here and you commenting for a change. Morning, Judy, or Judith and Judith, and Sheila as well. So we're going to use that card because that really sets this whole thing off. So that's the size card we're using, 10 by 7. And then I've got a variety of colours. So I wanted to use some of the Waterfall gold card, really shiny gold card. Lovely. Then I want some black to make that pop. Then I've chosen an old piece of 12 by 12 paper. It's by Couture Creations. It's from my stash. It's called Vintage Rose Garden, but I think it's probably about 10 years old. So I can't think that you're going to be able to get it. Oh, no, beg your pardon, 6 years old. So, but nevertheless, I shouldn't think that you could get it anymore. But it's any papers, really. And then so that I didn't go too in your face, this piece is a piece of, it's called Milk Card, but it's sort of like that ivory type colour rather than the stark in your face white card. So the first layer is going to be my waterfall card. So I have checked and measured my blank card, which, as I said, was 10 by 7. So I'm actually going to go in inches today, which is unusual for me because I don't like working in inches. But I found that that's probably the easier way to go for everybody. So I'm just going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut my piece of waterfall card 1/4 of an inch smaller than my main card is all the way around. So if my piece of my card blank is 10 inches by 7 inches, I need to cut it at 9 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, so 6 3/4 up the top here. Just check that I've got that right. Yeah, 6 3/4 there, and then turn that around and 9 3/4 there. So as I said, I measured my card. Doesn't matter what size card that you do, that's the way that I go with it. I go 1/4 inch or 1/2 centimetre if I'm working in centimetres, smaller than the main card itself for the first layer. So that's my first layer. So then I'm going to go with a piece of black card, and that is going to be 1/4 inch less than that again. So that will be 6 1/2 by 9 1/2. So we're coming down, down, down all the time. 6 1/2 by 9 1/2. Okay, and that will then fit onto my waterfall card with that lovely little border all the way round. And then I'm going to take a piece of my patterned paper. Now, because it's 12 by 12, I'm just going to look at my patterned paper. Hold on, let's bring this out a bit more. Camera sort of fell down a little bit there. I'm going to look at my 12 by 12 piece of paper, and I'm going to see where I think I want my pattern to be. And I like these bottom corners here. I think they look quite nice. So I'm going to make sure that I've got them in. So I'm going to trim my length to 9 1/4. So that's going down 1/4 inch again. So 9 1/4 inches. And that will have to be torn a little bit because I've still got my scorer thing in there. So 9 1/4 and then 6 1/4. And I'm going to make sure, although I am covering most of this, but I think I'll be able to still see this little bit corner there. So I'm going to cut that as well. So that's the 6 1/4 there. So I have now got all my layers already cut out. Let me just bring them over. So there's my big card, 10 by 7, 1/4 inch down is 9 3/4. So let's stick some of this down. Should have checked that the glue was going to work before I came on with you. I love these papers. I bought these papers, as I said, 6 years ago, and I don't know, they just keep on giving. I like vintagey looks, and they're not too sort of in your face, but they're just so pretty. So I'm just going to move that into position there. So that is my first layer. Then I'm going to go on with my black. And as I said, if you were being particularly frugal, because your black card is going to be covered by the next layer, you could have cut your pieces or some of your pieces out from there. See what I mean? I could have cut that out from the centre of that, and then although I'd only been putting down a little thin frame, no one would have known that there wasn't a full piece of card. So I'm being a bit extravagant, but you don't need to be. And then I'm going to put my base on top of that. So this was my 9 1/4 by 6 1/4. Oh, and the glue, we don't want that on there, so that goes onto there. Now I'm quite liking that already. Some of you need to de-stash. I reckon that's a good idea. Though I find that then I always wanted the die that I've actually got rid of, which isn't much good, is it? So there's my card base all ready to go, which I think is really a lovely, plain but classy card base. So we put that to one side. And now we're going to bring our dies back in again. Okay, and we're going to cut out I'm going to take the next 2 dies down for my background first. So 2 dies down for that one. 2 dies down for that one and 2 dies down for that one. Okay. So for the first layer, for my black piece, so here's my black piece here, I'm going to add this as a double layer. So I'm going to have my square on the top of there. But when I go to put my stag on, I'm actually going to put him over there as well. So I've got a double layer on here. So I'm going to put that to one side because we don't need that yet. So I'm going to cut that out of some of my pattern paper again, because I think that that would look quite nice. So I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to decide where again we want it to be on the pattern. It is double-sided, so we can go either side. So I think I'm going to go down there again because I like that pattern. So I'm going to first of all put my outer stitch dot, no, not stitch dot, sorry, stitch on there. Pop that just in, and then before I get any further, I'm just going to place my holy one, my patterned one, in the center. So even though this is on paper and not on card, I think this will still look quite nice. It's been a very busy weekend. Everybody's loving all of the 21st birthday party celebrations ones, so which has been really good. So I'm working my way through them, everybody. They have all arrived and they are all on their way to people. Well, not all, but there is a lot that went out yesterday and some more going out today. And even the stuff that was pre-ordered. Sorry. There were some pre-orders on the show with some of the tools and the embossing folders. And I'm hoping that they will come in on Friday. So they will be out, they will be going out as soon as possible as well. And some of the things sold out completely, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So you can see now that I've done my pretty little border all the way around there. And that's going to go onto there, which I think again looks really pretty. But we're almost covering it because we're going to put our black card over the top of it. So we see still this stitched bit, but we haven't got a great deal of the pattern behind it, but we've still got a hint of it, and it will still tie in with our main card like that. Okay, so it's still the same theme running through it. So again, that's to one side. So now I'm going to take my, first of all, I'm going to have a look at my stamp. So this is my stamp, the beautiful stag's head. Now, before I decide what I'm going to do with that, let me just pop that behind so you can actually see it. Oh, you can see the muck on it as well. But what's a bit of muck between friends, eh? We do need to just check, because it is a wide stamp, that it will fit in. And in all honesty, that inner one with the patterns on is just a bit too tight for my liking. So I'm actually not going to use that inner die on this one. Let's put that back. Put there. But I am going to use this beautiful just stitched one because that fits on there beautifully. So what I'm going to do though is, so that I want to cut it into a circle, but I think that it might be easier if I was to stamp it first and then actually cut it out, because otherwise trying to keep a piece of paper that is circular in the right position, just in case we need to restamp a second time, is possibly a little bit ambitious. So subsequently, we're going to do it like that. Okay, so I'm going to take my milk card, so a piece of milk card, and I'm going to chop a piece in half so that I'm not working with anything too massive. And I'm just going to pop that into position, just going to hold it into position. So I've got my corners put there really nicely. And then it sounds like the staff are coming back in, but they're going to be told off in a minute if they keep talking. So I'm just going to ink up with my VersaFine on my chap there. So I'm just going to press that down. So press that down into place and make sure that that's all. Isn't that beautiful? Hold on a second. I'm just going to shut the door. Right. So I'm absolutely loving the detail on this stag's head. I just want to show you in close. Look at that. It's really different. And it's even got sort of like little birds. You could colour this in. Oh, I'm just doing very basic because a lot of people don't like colouring. And I just think that the details on this are really, really beautiful. Even look at his eyelashes. You see his eyelashes? I say he. Oh, it has to be a he, doesn't it? Because it's a stag. Well, whatever. Anyway, enough of drooling over that. Let's get that little chap cut out. So pop that to one side. So I need to then place my circle over the top with a bit of tape. Just try and get it as even as possible. And then just run that through my machine as well. There we go. Gosh, sometimes that seems as if it takes forever to go through the machine when I'm wanting it to anyway. So let's just take this out. Like that. And then I'm going to get a good old distress ink, and this time in tea dye, and my little brush, which has subsequently fallen on the floor, so we'll have to have a bigger brush. Oh, okay. Let's just make sure that this is clean. I don't really want a different colour on there than the tea dye that I'm supposed to be putting on. So what I'm just going to do with this, I've got my blending mat underneath, or rather a heat mat underneath, but a blending mat's ideal. Just taking a small amount, and I'm just bringing it in very gradually because it's easier to keep putting more on than it is to take it away. And I'm just bringing in the corners. There are no corners to a circle. I'm bringing in the edges so that I'm just darkening them up. And I'm using the tea dye in the distress ink. It's not an oxide, it's just distress ink, because it's the nearest colour to the papers that I'm working with. So I don't want to change a load of colours, different papers, just bring it in. Now I'm bringing it in from the edge as I'm working. And I'm just, although I'm bringing it in from the edges, let me just zoom in on this. Although I'm bringing it in on the edges, I'm bringing it further in to the image as well, because I don't want to colour the image, but I don't want it to be too stark. So I'm going all the way round and just a little bit on the inside there as well. Okay. Hopefully we haven't got many problems with freezing or anything on there again. Just bringing this all the way around. And when I show you in a second a piece of cream card, or the card that the milk card as it's called, you'll see it might not look as if I've made a great deal of difference. And I'm hoping that it shows on the camera, because it does show here. But when I hopefully put it next to the milk card that hasn't been blended into the corner, I think the edges, I think you'll see what I mean. So let me just grab this piece here, and then you can hopefully see that actually that pops quite a lot, whereas you might not have realised it did until you put it on there. Now, I wouldn't want to put it on the same colour. It's a bit too stark. So, as you know, we're putting that onto our black piece. Okay. So our beautiful stack is now going straight onto our black piece. Pop that. So we know that because the dies all came together, we know that it's all beautifully even for there. And then I'm also going to stick my patterned piece down here as well. I have to just make sure I do go right up to the edges there, because I've got the pattern on there too. And if you do get a little bit of glue that seeps through like it wants to there already, it doesn't matter because it does dry clear. So again, because all the dies are beautifully set for you, you can just stick that down. And as I say, although it's showing the glue there at the minute, it won't very soon. So that's going to go there. Now, before we put them all together, so I'm just going to press that down there so that I can get some. So that's going to go onto there like that. And I just want to now do the final bit, which is the, I'm going to pop a sentiment into there. Okay. So just put this back where it should go, otherwise I shall lose it. So I've got my black background, and I've got my other two dies for the centerpiece, and I'm going to use my milk again, so the same card, and I'm going to cut that out of there. Or I think I am. I told you that I was letting you into my brain today. I am going to do this, but I might not. I might change my mind. I don't know, because I can, you know. Anyone can change their mind. How many times do we start a card off and we think we're going to do it one way, and then when actually we do it, it's completely different? Because I know I do that all the time. So just going to run this through. And I'll tell you what I thought I might do, but I don't know. So there's my beautiful stitched piece. Okay, and that is going to go, whoops. That is going to go in the center like that. With my, yeah, I think I will keep it like that. I was deliberating there, which is dangerous, but I was wondering whether I should do a patterned piece of paper on there. But I don't think I am, so I might change my mind, you never know. I'm going to take this first, and I'm going to put a bit of colouring on. So I'm going to do the same as I did with my Distress Ink in tea dye, because of the colouring that I've chosen. And I'm going to go round the edges, and I've got edges now and corners of this. And so I'm blending it down. I'm not making the card look quite so stark now. I'm just going to, whoops, blend these edges through. And then I've picked a sentiment that I'm going to stamp onto it this time rather than stencil. There's so many lovely different sentiments, but I thought that I'd do this one so that it's not necessarily a Christmas card. A lot of people like stags and deers, and I think that if anyone you know, male especially, perhaps, coming up in the winter has got a birthday, that this one might be an idea if I don't just put that sentiment on there. So I've just done my edges again, and then I'm going to pick up my stamping platform, take, oh gosh, you can see how close the camera was then, take my deer off, and got a sentiment here. Just hold that into place. And this one says, have a wonderful day, which I think, as I said, doesn't really matter then whether it's your birthday or you're just thinking of someone or what. Okay, so I'm going to use my VersaFine in Onyx Black again. Ink that up. Press that down, make sure that comes through. And there we go, there's our sentiment. Take that away. There we go. So now I'm just going to pop the card together. So I've just got to add this first to the back here. And again, a little bit of glue, not only in the centre, but also around those edges, because otherwise they will not stick. And if a bit of glue pops through the holes, do not be concerned, because it will all dry clear. Okay. Excuse the glue, but I do think that looks nice. I think that it looks vintagey, and that's how I wanted it to look. So I'm now going to pop my card all together. So I'm going to bring in my card blank again. I'm going to zoom out so that you can again see what we're doing. So there's my card blank. It was my 10 by 7 card blank. And I've now got my beautiful pieces to go with it. And I'm going to add some foam to the back of it. I'm going to take my 2mm foam to do this, as I don't want it too massive. I'll just take my dies out of the way so that they don't all fall on the floor. So and now a little bit of foam on the back, just to give it a little bit of dimension. So I'm just going to put foam onto all 4 edges, not too close to the edge so that I can see it, but close enough so that it doesn't fold down, because it's nothing worse than that. And I'm also going to add, as always, a little bit of wet glue to it once I take these pieces off. You're liking it, Nicola? Thank you. I love this stag, and I think that it looks nice to see a bit of a different, really. And also, as I say, I'm sure that many of you, if you've been crafters for a while, have got some old papers that you could use. I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way to this. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's got music on it, so let's go for that way. So we'll pop him up there. Just hold that to grab. Then we'll put our sentiment down the bottom. And in this case, I'm going to do it 3 pieces like that. To start off with, I was a scrapbooker. And so that's why I do have a lot of 12 by 12 papers. But not so into that these days, although I'm loving the memory books, which are the memory book dies. Do you know what? I think that even looks nice, really. But let's finish him off with our lovely little boy. And we'll put him in pride of place. So I'm going to put a little bit of foam on him and in sort of strategic places so that we get him across. Okay. So as I said, I will be continuing today to do your orders, your lovely weekend, birthday weekend orders. And as soon as any of the pre-order stuff comes through, that will be through. The Nellie Snellen embossing folders will be here, I'm hoping today, so they will be going out to you just as soon as they arrive. And we'll be making some wonderful things, I'm sure, with those. And do put them on the Facebook page. We love to have a look at them. So there's my... Now I'm just going to make sure he's straight. I'd normally be poking my head over the side, but I can't do that because the camera's in the way. So let's just hold him there. I'm afraid I won't be here on Friday again. I know I keep missing in action, but so many things seem to happen on Friday. So I will not be here for Fancy Friday, but I will be back here again on Sunday for the Sunday special. So what do you think? I think he looks rather lovely. And as I said, nothing to colour in, but you could. I would verge on the fact that I don't want to spoil it at this stage, but I would also be thinking to myself, because I've got this gold edge here, I would be thinking of getting myself a gold pen. Just trying to see if I've got such a thing. Yeah, I would be getting a gold pen, and I would pick out all these little flowers with my gold pen, just so that I can, because I just think that looks nice as well. Just gives, I don't know if you can see that, just gives it a hint of a gold. So I'm just going to finish doing that whilst I natter on to you. I just want to make sure that my gold is coming out. I thought to myself, there we are. Come on, work for Maxine. Oh, okay, don't they? Don't. We don't care. We have ways and means of getting other things, do we not? Yeah, we don't care. Right, okay. So I'm going to go for Wink of Stella instead. See if I care that the pen don't work. Right, so I'm just going to do the flowers. So I'm here, not here Friday, back here on Sunday with another little treasure for you on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that. If you would like any of the products that I've used today, they are all over the place, really. There's some on the, I'll try and put them in the right place. There are some on the birthday wow part of the website at maximumcrafts.com. That's probably the best place to look for them. The stag's there as well. But if you haven't treated yourself and you are thinking, I don't know if I want those layering dies, they are just, as I say, this one was the 5. I don't know why I'm turning the card round. Oh dear. This is the 5-inch layering dies, and although you might think that that's only for a 5-inch card, then it certainly isn't. And you can use that. This is a 10x7 and it fits in beautifully. You can use all of them like I have done today, or you can just use 1 or 2 of them. Hold on. I can see one there that I haven't got. I have to stop talking when I'm doing that. Now, I don't want to ruin him, but I'm tempted. I'm tempted to do the hearts. It's no good. I've got to. Give me a pen in my hand and then I've just got to. Right. I'm not going to do any more because I don't want to ruin him. So I don't know if you can see that I've just put those little gold bits. And again, I'm not sure if the light's going to catch it, but they are just adding a little bit of extra sparkle to them. I love him. I think he's going to be very nice for a man's winter birthday. So thank you very much for joining me and listening to all my witterings on. It's been really great to have you here, and I do appreciate every single person that joins now. And the sentiment stamp is an old Crafter's Companion, and I will tell you what it is. I don't know if there's any left on the website. It is from the On Your Special Day die set, June. That's where it's from, On Your Special Day. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you on Sunday. Have a lovely few days. Stay safe, keep well, and thank you very much for joining me. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.